Yeah, that's me. Yeah. So I've been a plant engineer for the last 20, 30 years, and I've been doing corporate training, especially in the whole area of preventive maintenance, plant services, so on and so forth. And of late, of course, I also do a lot of what they call plant maintenance, computerized maintenance management systems. That is one of my core sort of thing that I do with clients. But today we want to focus just on, yeah, talking about effective preventive maintenance. So I just want to give you some thoughts, give you some thoughts, some ideas, how to do that. Within a short time, of course, we cannot dig in a lot, but hopefully, with 20 minutes to 30 minutes, we can stir up some interest and some direction for all of us. Now, what is plant maintenance? But basically, a good definition would be like this. Okay. A preventive maintenance. Now, the word PM can stand for plant maintenance, or as we understand it, as preventive maintenance. And of course, preventive maintenance just include a lot of things, and then of course the different aspect of preventive maintenance, the way that we do it. It could be time based, it could be condition based, but that one will be another topic for another day. But basically, a preventive maintenance or a plan maintenance is a plan for organizing company resources to ensure maintenance tasks are performed according to specific time. Now that is very important because we all of us must have have a very what they call disciplined way of doing maintenance. And the goal of doing it is to keep the asset in optimal working condition. So a very good example would be your car. You will need to service your car every 5,000 kilometers or every 3 months. Why do you keep doing that? So that your car will be in optimum condition. Optimum is at the near tip top lah, but everything is subject to wear and tear. Everything is subject to wear and tear, but basically to keep it as tip top as we can possibly be. And of course, sometimes when you change parts, of course the pump become as good as new. So basically, that is actually what you call preventive maintenance. Is the key words is actually so that we have a plan that will help us to trigger us at a specific time, or usage. Usage means just like your car, 5,000 kilometer. But in the case of machinery, then we look at the months, every 3 months, every 4 months, or every month sort of thing. Now, of course, scheduling, there's different scheduling tools. You can use a calendar. A calendar is a very simple one. It costs very cheap. So you can mark in your calendar when to service what equipment and all that. But there is limitation. There is limitation. Of course, then you can use a Gantt chart, which is also not too bad. Depending on Gantt chart will be good for very specific tasks. But if it's a continuous repetitive job, then the Gantt chart is actually not a good one. If it's a big job, well, network analysis is actually a good sort of tool. But then now, of course, the network analysis will be good for a big project where you have different tasks at different intervals. And then we have the other one is the CMMS. Okay, calendar. Let's just look at the calendar. Yeah. And then, okay, then we have Gantt chart. Then we have network analysis. We have CMMS. Okay. Let's just look at some of the scheduling sort of some of the attribute or characteristic. So scheduling is actually a matter of when to do. Yeah. So it's a matter of when to do. Yeah. It's a matter of availability. In other words, when to do your service. When is your equipment available? Now, to coordinate that in the production, sometimes take a bit of sort of management skill. Yeah, like our car is much more easier because when can we service your car? When the car is not in use. If you are going to go out station, of course it's not available. You cannot do servicing. But in the same token, in the plant equipment, when can you do? When it's running production, you cannot do. But what happened when the equipment is run 24 hours? What are you going to do? Of course, if that is the case, then there are different tasks that we can do. Instead of stopping the machine and servicing it, then you may need to have activities can that can actually do PM, and a PM is a whole range of thing again. The activity is a whole range of things whereby you can actually do uh, observations, inspection to changing of parts. So that's preventive maintenance. So basically, scheduling is a matter of when to do. And also to coordinate the people who have the needed skill. Yeah, if you need two mechanics, and if your mechanic is already on vacation, for example, you cannot do it. If the people that you need are specialized people, where you have the where you need to employ outside contractor, of course, then you need to coordinate all those things. So to bring it back, not only the people but also the parts. So you are talking about changing a shaft. If the shaft is not available, nothing there's nothing to do. The machine can be stopped, production can give you the equipment, but you got no parts. So to ensure the people and the parts are there. And of course, finally, we need to have the agreement of production to release the equipment, or the user. Sometimes the user thinks is no, my production is more important than servicing. Let me just run. And unless we can prove that if we continue to run, the machine is going to break down. To the production is the numbers are important enough. Production number figures at the end of the day. So now this is like I told you just now. I told you the calendar. This is a calendar base. So if let's say you just take one of your diary calendar, then you have the date, so you can easily mark. You can actually what you can do is you can mark you can actually mark all these dates that when to do and all that. So a calendar, no, yeah, a calendar is actually a good scheduling tool, but it has its limitation because it's not very flexible. Like for example, if you want to change your schedule, let's say for example, down here, the first one, AC, if you can see AC 101, for example, it's done on the first week. But what happened when you did not actually do on the first week? You actually do on the third week because the people on MC, the parts are not there. So instead of week one, you did on the week three. So the question is, when are you going to do again? Of course, you want to do it on week 7. But right now here is already marked week 5. So how do you change that? So in a calendar base, then of course you can wrap it and change it. So after a while, the thing can become quite messy. So in other words, it's not very flexible in the sense. So it may not be a very sort of optimum or best tool. And of course, in scheduling, there are something that you need to understand also, whether it's a fixed or variable schedule. Yeah. Let's say you talk about every 3 months. No, okay, every 4 weeks. So after you have completed one, then it give you the next 4 weeks, which is actually week 5. But sometimes you need it to be flexible. Just like I showed you just now. If I did on the third week, then now I got to shift it to the 7th week instead of week 5. So we have what they call fixed or variable scheduling. And the best way to do it is to have a computer system that help us to do that. whether it's fixed variable. Now the next scheduling tool is a Gantt chart. Gantt chart is not. This is good if they are if you use it for what you call activities or a bigger job, whereby, for example, in this job you're talking about overhaul a big equipment, whereby you remove the engine, then you paint up the body, then you put back the engine. So you have scheduled it along the way, which week to do what. So this is in some way a scheduling tool for a project type of maintenance job, whereby you can actually schedule which week to do what. Just imagine you have a very big job that go up to 12, 13 weeks. Of course, this is not too bad sort of scheduling tool. So this is not a repetitive type of job. So you're talking about a repetitive, then you need to have some other thing. And of course, apart from Gantt chart, network analysis is also good for a project base. So we will not go deep into this. But basically, a network analysis tell you the logical sequence, which one comes first, which one comes second. But the drawback in the traditional sort of network analysis, it don't give you the timing actually. Yeah. So you need to schedule things in. But of course, today, with a lot of software tools and project management tool, it actually give you the sort of scheduling whereby you can put in the date and all that. But then again, it also have a dependency in the sense that this task can only start when the last task is completed. So again, there are constraints that you may want to look at. But basically, it's a scheduling tool in some way. So of course, the best option is actually to go towards the CMMS. Yeah, so the CMS not only manage your asset, you will manage your PM, which is your plant maintenance or preventive maintenance and services, and also you can actually link up to your spare part, so that when the job is going to be scheduled, you can actually check from your resources, whether the people are there, whether the parts are there. So it's not just the scheduling tool, but actually it's the asset management tool. A CMS is an asset management tool. Now the PM and services is the core of the whole CMMS, whereby not only you sort of schedule and when to service, but it should be able to generate a works order. And they have a recording system whereby when your job is finished, you record it so that you know when was the last time it was done, what do you actually do it. And of course, the CMS don't only take care of the routines or repetitive job. It also cater for ad hoc repair. In other words, breakdowns, works or corrective action, so on and so forth. But right now we are looking at a plan or a very sort of repetitive routine maintenance. Then a CMS is still the best. Now, what is a CMMS? Yeah, because it's also linked up with the bill of material, which is actually your spare parts. Yeah, and of course the CMMS, some of the good things that it do is it can actually track your efficiency. You'll give you a lot of reports. So a lot of report, which we will try to do some of the report in the next round, in the next talk, whereby we're talking about some metrics and all that. So how is the asset performing? What is the uptime? What is the downtime? What's the mean time between failure? What is the mean times to repair, so on and so forth. But it also may sort of comply with regulatory requirement. Like for example, you were talking about fire equipment. You know that your fire equipment you need regular servicing. How is the servicing being triggered? Is it being monitored in the sense that is it recorded? Can you show the bomba that no, it was the last time when it was done? What are some of the reading that you have taken? Yeah, so that is the regulatory or statutory requirement. Like for example, your pressure vessel, so on and so forth. Not to mention ISO today. So ISO today also require you to have a very formal sort of preventive maintenance system in place. ISO has always been linked up with quality management, and quality of product actually come from quality of machine. If your machine is not properly maintained, don't expect quality product coming out from there. So your quality product start with a quality equipment. So therefore, ISO today see the needs that you need to keep your machine properly tuned, properly sort of adjusted, no, properly inspected so that you can actually produce good product. So you see, a CMMS is the beginning towards a good maintenance management system. Is the beginning towards what we call a effective PM scheduling system. Yeah. So what is the CMS therefore? Of course, CMS just stands for computerized maintenance management system. So just imagine that the finance have its finance accounting systems. If some of you are aware, like for example, mind your own business. Okay, the accounting system, and then of course CMMS, just the acronym stands for computerized maintenance management system. And it's a powerful tool to enhance the maintenance of the site. Not only take care of equipment, equipment are running asset, but there are assets which are stationary. Like for example, your structures, your scaffolding, your walls and all that need maintenance. So the site consists of running equipment and non-running equipment. To enhance the maintenance of the site through a database that store information. So basically, it's a information based system regarding your machine part, the PM schedule, your works order. It can be upgraded and provide prediction. So if a good system eventually will be able to capture data and give you prediction, so that you can better manage your equipment efficiency, effectiveness, and budgeting, your trending, whatever, so on and so forth. Now the CMMS process, basically the CMMS maintenance system basically is a software, and therefore is a software that help an organization track the status of your maintenance task. So you have a job, is it completed or not completed? How much delay was it? Yeah. So you also track the location of replacement of part or sub-assembly, which are generally located in the company service depot or warehouse. So it actually comprises a lot of information. Where is this equipment? Just imagine if you have a very big plant, and how do you look at the equipment and know this machine is actually from the corner of the building? So again, that will have to do with your what we call equipment hierarchy, your equipment coding system, so on and so forth. Yeah. So in a nutshell, if you look at the CMMS, it will give you things like PM scheduling is the backbone. Is the backbone behind. But apart from that, of course, it helps you to do asset equipment information. How many pumps do you have? How many equipment you have in this process? For example, what equipment belong to this process A, process B. So all those are information you can store in your CMMS. Equipment history, works order. Then the good thing is you can actually generate works order. Now whether you want a CMMS or not, you still need a system to generate works order. So your works order is either a computerized system or actually is a manual system. And of course, because of the data, it can collect, can give you analysis, spare parts, control, and so forth. Yeah. So that is CMMS. But one of the talks that we're going to focus on is CMMS much later, but not today. So like I told you, whether you got a computerized system or whether you have a manual system, you need to have a system to generate the works order. So a manual works order is it's like you print the form. So just imagine you have a sort of a calendar based scheduling. On the calendar you mark, okay, this week what equipment to be done. So this week you come in the office, you see, okay, machine A need to be serviced today. So you take a piece of paper, a form, and then you put down there, equipment A, uh, your frequency every month, every 4 weeks. What is your job to be done? Then you write down what you want to do. So the manual system is not an effective system. Or of course you can pre-print the instruction sheet there. But then just imagine you have so many equipment with so many instructions. How many sort of pre-printed form can you have? Of course, the computerized system will automatically pick up from your database and print it out as and when required. Yeah. So the works order, of course, the works order, apart from the planned maintenance, which is we call it preventive maintenance, and then of course there are corrective repair, breakdown maintenance. So a CMS system, oh no, sorry, a works order should be able to cater for all these category. So that you put down there whether it's ad hoc repair or actually planned maintenance. So you must have information in forms. So whatever form that you have. Yeah. What are the works procedure? Why are work procedure important? Now, if it's a repetitive process, so you don't want to write the thing all over again. Then it's able to capture information because the work the procedure sometimes may have instruction like, for example, ask you to check the thickness, the temperature, the uh, or whatever it is, the pressure of the equipment. So these are information capture which will help you or give you in knowledge when you want to do some other plant maintenance later on. And it's good to train new employees. Yeah. So that the thing are kept catch on, things are repeated, so it's simple to pass knowledge and information. Reduce self-induced failure. Of course, if works on no procedures are properly specified, it become what they call standing instruction. Yeah, or sometimes we call it SOP, your standard operating procedure. So it become your SOP. So that it will reduce self-induced failure. In other words, it acts like a foolproof thing, a checklist. Have you checked this? Have you checked that? So that you don't miss out things. Very often, without a good procedure, you go down there, you think you do what is good, but you forget. I forget this, I forget that. So a standard procedure, which is SOP, standard operating procedure, will help you to minimize all those mistakes that you may encounter, if you do not have a standard procedure in place. Yeah. So what trigger a works order? So when we're talking about a plant maintenance, it could be triggered by your mileage, the usage of the equipment, or by the date, the frequency of how often, like 5 weeks, 6 weeks, or 2 months. So then again, or if it's a breakdown maintenance, of course it will be triggered by your breakdown. If the machine breakdown, production call you raise the works order. So they are what we call works order trigger. Things that trigger your works order. Yeah, so it can complain or already plan, or it can actually be triggered by your what you call condition-based monitoring system. Yeah, because every week you check your oil. Yeah, oil looks okay, oil look okay. Then eventually it come to your oil is very dirty, your oil is very not having sufficient oil, all the time very fast. Then you maybe it's time for an overhaul, or changing of the oil, the filter, so on and so forth. So it can be triggered by different things. But basically, this is the work order. It gives you information for different things. Tell us planned or unplanned maintenance. Give you information. A build life cycle, give you instruction, so on and so forth. And and also, you may be able to pick up some, if it's a breakdown maintenance, you may be able to pick up like why things fail, what is the what are some of the observation you see, whether it's a cause or it's a root cause, we don't know until we do a root cause analysis later on. So the importance of works order uh, are plentiful. Yeah, and then of course the works order should be able to give you information on the type of equipment, the category, the size, the condition, performance history, failure mode, which you can actually capture. So works order, basically a planned maintenance system is a works order system. So in other words, you must have a whatever planned maintenance, whether it's computerized or not computerized, you must have works order to help to be generated so that your mechanic know what to do, right? And a good works order system should give you sufficient information on what to do. That is your procedure, yeah? Because if you have multiple sort of equipment in the plant, the way you service an aircon will be very different from the way you service a pump. The way you service a pump is very different from the way you service a gearbox, for example. Yeah? So each of these are very unique equipment which require very unique procedure. So therefore, you can see, look, I have a whole set of procedure which I need to be injected into my works order. So what is the best way to do that? A computerized system. Yeah. And of course, today computerized system is make much easier uh, with the network system. You can sit in the comfort of your maintenance office, and you can actually have the software in the server. Or today you can actually have it in the internet. Right? You Yeah, you have your IT put it in the internet, and then you can actually run the software from the comfort of your house. If you are locked down, no big deal. Yeah, you can go into your computer, log into the internet, and see what is happening, and you can control your process from the comfort of your house. And of course, internet was good if you have multiple sites. You have multiple sites. And of course, things are getting better in the sense that you can even take out your handphone, you may be having a coffee time, chat time, in a cafe, and you want to see what is going on in the plant. Okay, just take out your phone and then log it in, and so on. Now, just to summarize, let me just say this, because I don't want to take too much of your time, because some of you are still working and having a break or lunchtime. So, an effective maintenance or effective sort of preventive maintenance require a system whereby you can capture data. And of course, manually, there are a lot of systems that you can use. If you're only two equipment, no big deal. Use a notebook, use a calendar and all that. But you have equipment more than that, of course, then you will require a much more sophisticated sort of planner, which is a computerized planner, computerized maintenance management system. Now, some of the things that you need to know about building a effective PM system is number one. So these are the tools. What I actually spoken to you today is actually the tools. The tools, whether it's a calendar, whether it's a CMMS, whether it's a gunshot, whether it's a network analysis, those are tools. But a good or effective PM scheduling so require a few other things. Like for example, a planner. You must have a planner in place. things are not automatically planned for. Somebody must set it up, somebody must decide how often I want to service this equipment, how often will I want to service the other equipment, so on and so forth. And when I service, who do I employ? Use my own people, use outside people. Do I need to change part? So those are key information that require a planner to put in the data. And of course, then we have the tool. And of course, also you must have a system whereby you can monitor what you plan, did you actually do? So one of the maintenance of metric is now what is your PM compliance? In other words, you say, look, you want to service this equipment every month. So if I take your history and look back into last year history, so if this equipment is due supposed to be serviced every month, then you should have 12 PM for last year. What happens if I find that you only have 8? For example, you only done 8 PM throughout the whole of last year. Means your compliance is actually 8 over 12, maybe about 60+%. Yeah. So what would be a good metric? So if you say that you want to do it, you should do it. That is ISO. Yeah. So you put it in your ISO that I'm supposed to service every month. To be compliant, 100% means you should have done 12 times per year. What happens if you only find that you only done 8? Then you are about, okay, 60+% compliance. Whether that's good or bad, acceptable or not, depend on industry to industry. And of course, a good sort of PM system should give you report, so that because the report will help you to make decision to fine tune your operation. And of course, whatever PM sort of tools you need must be flexible to change. Because changes is the only thing that remain constant. In the sense that we keep on changing things all the time. So with that, I will just stop here and allow any Q&A.